Hi, Filter here. Um, Yesterday, Sunday, I was looking up a video and I came across Star Trek Discovery, and they describe these the new Klingons, if you will, and basically these new Klingons, if they are Klingons, but if they are, let's say for the sake of the argument, they are look nothing like the classical ones that we're so used to. To put it mildly, as we remember from the original TV series, they just kind of gave them a little bit of, I guess, swarthy appearance and sent them out on their merry way with the beards to make them look like the Mongol hordes. Um, by the time of the motion picture, they had the ridges. And then when you get to the next rather actually Star Trek 3, they had the ridges, not that straight bump, but more or less the crests. And then in the next generation, you see it. Coincidentally, something in that I have to compare. If you look at the next generation Klingons compared to the Klingons in the films, um, the Klingons in the films have straight teeth whilst the Klingons in Next Generation all have these weird, crooked, fang-like teeth and the well, you get it. The same even goes for Enterprise. They show them with the crooked teeth, and I don't know, whatever. The continuity is basically what I'm trying to get at. They also showed what looks like a picture of the ships, which look more like crustaceans more than they do Klingon vessels. Again, if you start from Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, then you go to the original series, then to the films. The Klingon ships have a certain aesthetic that you could automatically say, hey, that's a Klingon ship. This looks nothing like it. Now, you might say, well, they kind of did the same thing for the reboot of Star Trek, the movies, J.J. Abrams, his Abrams verse, where in Star Trek Into Darkness, they land on Kronos, and there they are confronted by Klingons in entirely different uniforms, not even making an attempt to give you at least the original series uniforms, to give you an idea. Oh, okay, to kind of keep a certain continuity, they just threw that out the door. But you could also think, hey, these are the ground crews that do their thing on Kronos and the like. And then the appearance, which looked more reptilian. Again, this could probably be explained by saying, well, maybe they're a separate race of Klingons that are more like this, and they don't like space travel. They're more the homebodies, and that would actually make sense. But like I said, dealing with the continuity errors, which I'm going to point out in Star Trek Discovery, and here's the thing: as a fan of the original series and all the series, when you start out with the show, the episode The Cage, the original episode, and then go to Where No Man Has Gone Before, where we get William Shatner for the first time. If you look at the uniforms are virtually the same. And the only difference is it's like an almost 13-year gap. That's it. It's 13 years. Something like 13 years. You had Christopher Pike in his uniform, which was a gold color. You had the guys who wore gold, and then you had the guys who wore, or really mustard yellow, and blue. We get to Where No Man Has Gone Before, same thing. Then you have the man trap, and that's when you have the differentiation of colors. Then they chucked in the red there. But it just seems like they just threw that out. They just throw it out. And because what it looks like the uniform, I don't know whether it's a dress uniform, but it looks like they're trying to establish that these are the uniforms that they're going to wear. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's subject to change because they're showing so many different things in this show that it just doesn't make any sense. For instance, the Discovery is much larger and seemingly more advanced than the Constitution class. And if you remember watching the original series, the Constitution class, basically, be it Scotty, be it Kirk, be it anybody, they basically said, hey, the Constitution class is the most advanced thing that Starfleet has. And then suddenly they put out this new ship that looks even more advanced. I mean, I can understand if they made it somewhat smaller, but had the same design. But this ship is actually bigger and more advanced, and it just really doesn't make all that much in the area of sense. It pisses off a lot of fans, myself included. One of the other things, let's see, we always dealt with the uniforms. The cast seems very interesting. Shaniqua Martin Green, if you remember her from Once Upon a Time and The Walking Dead, she's going to be playing the lead character in this television show. It'll be interesting to see, if black female is the lead. We've already had a black male as a lead. We already had a white female as the lead. However, what I would like to see is what was suggested was the Captain Worf kind of series that they thought of. But like I said, consistency is one of the things. Oh, now I remember the arrowhead, stylized arrowhead, the insignia. Again, for fans of the original series, each ship had an insignia, a different insignia. The Enterprise had the arrowhead, the stylized arrowhead. When you're at Starfleet, you had a star on your shirt. But again, with the reboot, they eliminated that. With the reboot, they eliminated that. They always had this arrowhead that was there. For instance, in the USS Kelvin, they have the arrowhead insignia. Then, and into not Into Darkness, but Star Trek Beyond, where you find out the spoiler alert that the one guy is a survivor of from the Federation, fought in the Zindi and Romulan wars back in the day. Even on his uniform, he has this stylized arrowhead, which really didn't. I don't know why they do this. It's sort of like they get some writer who's seen 2 or 3 episodes and then says, "Oh well, I'm just going to do this," and that's it. Not even a writer. It's more like the costume designer. And somebody should at least be there to say, they used to have individual insignias on their for each ship. I don't know why we're giving them the same damn thing as producing continuity errors. And there's really no explanation for it. At least if you look at Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the story was that Kirk was the only captain in Starfleet to bring his ship back with ship and crew intact, while others lost maybe half their crew or all their crews, or the ships got destroyed, or it was something to the effect. It was something to that effect, or the fact that he distinguished himself in the most highest way, that they adopted the Enterprise as the flagship, and they all used the insignia because they liked it, and I guess it was cost effective for Starfleet. I don't know how it worked, but that's what they did. But like I said, it's the continuity errors which I'm worried about, and the fact that they're going to show the bridge of the ship, and it's going to look far more advanced than it should be, considering it's supposed to take place 10 years before the original series. Now keep in mind, from where the episode of The Cage and this show, there's only going to be a 3 year or so gap. And if you're going to just chuck out new uniforms just like that, and most likely an insignia, well, nonetheless, I'm I'm gonna have, how can I put it? I'm gonna hold out a little bit of hope for this. Seriously, I'm gonna give it a wait and see. I like a lot of things. Like it was like Suicide Squad. Everybody was like, "Oh no, that's not the Joker, Jared Leto," but he kind of pulls it off. Same thing with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I wanted to take a wait and see to get the idea of what we're dealing with. It's normally going to take about 2, 3 episodes. It's sort of like Next Generation. It took about 4 episodes really for me to say, oh, okay, now I get these characters. Now I understand who they are. and then you could say, okay, I relate to this character, I can relate to this character, I dig this character, and this character has got to go. That's just basically the way it is with most shows, especially stuff that tries to pick up most Star Trek inspired shows. It takes 2, 3 episodes before you realize what the hell you're looking at. You know, before you say, okay, I really dig this, and it's probably worth watching. But like I said, my only gripe is the continuity, and I just it's just continuity for me. Well, that's all I gotta say. Until then, I'm Filter, and I'm out of here. Take care.